out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned to Apartment 5B podcast, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad in effect with me, as always. Got my brother from BK, Veg. What's going on, brother?
It's good, man. Chilling. Can't complain.
All good. Got my brother out there in Eddie and sunny LA, always flossing on us with the outside cam now, how bright and nice it is out there while it's all dark and gloomy out here on the East Coast. So we appreciate, you shining on us, bro. JR, the youngest in charge, Young Google. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Good to be here, man.
I ain't no doubt. You know me, gonna be a dope show. Let's jump right into it. Prayerfully, if you've been rocking with us long enough, we have been saluting every year since 1988. And the great thing about these years is I'll give you an example. One of my peoples reached out to me and they were like asking me about when did hip hop go from this, progressive, Public Enemy? I was like, 1991, because we just did the show. In doing these shows, you can see how things change. And we talk about the vibe of the years and how it kind of switched from the pro-black or a Public Enemy more into the 5%er, Brand Nubians, Bohemian Tribe Called Quest type vibe. So that's the great thing about these shows. So again, we've been rocking since 88, breaking all this down. We are now in the year of 1997. You know what I'm saying? I hit JR with this topic. He said, man, that was a big year for R&B. So I'm definitely want to hear his vibes of R&B. But y'all know me, it's a hip hop show. Let's start with the hip hop. Top 5 albums from 1997 in order. I'm going to set them off. I got number 5, Beat Nuts, Stone Crazy. I love the Beat Nuts. If you know me, I love them. That year was Do You Believe? Find That. I've told this story constantly about this shorty who owed me money, and that shit was on my answering machine. If you owe me money, you better find that shit, because niggas is dying quick behind that shit. Just always love the Beat Nuts. So the Beat Nuts is that for me. Number 4, I got OC's Jewels. You know what I'm saying? My favorite OC album. Again, Word Life and Jewels to me are almost like Midnight and Low End or Philadelphia and Things Fall Apart. You can't go wrong with either one. We had OC on here before. He said he prefers Jewels. It was much more polished, but so many bangers on that. War Games, even Far From Yours. I knew a lot of people didn't like Far From Yours. They thought he was crossing over with the Yvette Michelle singing, and a lot of people coming off of hearing Time's Up and then hearing Far From Yours was like, he sold out. But I feel like the whole album was a banger, so I can't call that. Number 3, I'm going with Camp Lo's Uptown Saturday Night. God, I love Camp Lo, man. Incredible album. And I want to say the crazy thing with this album is that, they correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember, I want to say Cooley High may have come out in 95. I felt like it had been around for a while, you know what I mean? And then of course we got, Lucchini, but I just remember waiting for this album. When is this thing gonna come out? We may have got Lucchini in 96 as a single, but we didn't get the album until 97. So again, I just think Ski just annihilated this album. Number 2, everybody knows my favorite Common album is One Day It'll All Make Sense. I was living in Atlanta at the time, just graduated Morgan. Was damn near living with my shorty, couldn't get a job, just nothing was going right in my life. And this album is one of those albums that just spoke to me. Even from the title, just One Day It'll All Make Sense. Just that thinking, dog, I was broke in Atlanta, broke. Nigga can't, me and my girl, a pint of shrimp fried rice lasting us 2-3 days broke. You know what I mean? On some real starving artist type shit. And it just nothing panned out. It was I did all these years at Morgan, did strictly hip hop. Like Vegas, I was graduating, people like, yo, what you worried about getting a job for? You know, everybody gonna be coming at you. And it was like, let me move to Atlanta, try and get on with this music. My girl was going back to Clark, so it was just like a real fucked up. I almost say like those were almost like the worst. I can't say the worst years, but it was a struggle. And up to that point in my life, I don't feel like I had struggled like that. So, I mean, everything on that album, I think I gotta pull this joint out. I feel like he just embodied everything on this album. If you wanted bars, you had real nigga quotes, you had making a name for ourselves with cannabis, you had hungry. If you wanted stories, he had what I think are some of the dopest hip-hop stories ever with Stolen Moment trilogy. You had the joint Retrospect for Life with it, you know, with Lauryn Hill. So I just felt like this album, no matter what you wanted, this album gave it to you any which way. And then of course my number one, well, I can't say of course, but for me, Big's Life After Death, man. Like when that joint dropped, I remember, if for people watching who are younger, you probably don't remember Circuit City, but Circuit City was like Best Buy. Like, you know how like you got McDonald's and Burger King, like it was like Best Buy and Circuit City. Circuit City was like Burger King or whatever. Like, what are you and Eddie doing? Are y'all playing phone tag? Like both y'all cameras go out, then your camera go off, and his come on? And
no, my mom just called. That's why.
Because it's like y'all bouncing back and forth. I'm like, what are y'all bouncing back and forth?
I told her I had I had your
podcast. Oh, it's all good. Tell moms we definitely said what's up. But usually in Circuit City, and here go Vague. See, now Vague done turned his camera off. So usually back in the day at Circuit City, they only played hip hop in the CD section of the store. So like when you
because mine was right across the street. So I wanted to know if they did that in all of them.
Yeah, they only played hip hop in the music section. So when you walked into Circuit City, you did not hear hip hop. No, you would have to go over to the side where the CDs and all that stuff was.
Okay.
You know, Life After Death dropped, the whole store was blasting Biggie. I've never seen that before, where the entire store was blasting Biggie. Not no radio edit, curse words and everything. Like, and the thing with Circuit City is they had it where, like, say I brought a computer, I would pay for it at the register. Then you'd have to go into the basement to actually pick it up.
Yes.
They was blasting it in the basement. Like everywhere you went, they were playing Life After Death. And I swear to God, like I had it like maybe a week before it dropped, but like even the week of it dropping, when I went down to the basement to get whatever I brought, the niggas already knew the words to it. Like they was already rapping along with everything Big was saying. So it was just like, yo, I ain't never seen an album drop and it's everywhere at the same time. And people already know the words. Like these niggas was singing the 10 Crack Commandments like this shit had been out for weeks and it had just dropped. So again, I'm it's right up there to me with 50's Get Rich or Die Trying, but in a different way. With 50's, I couldn't find that shit nowhere. Like I think I went to about 4 or 5 record stores. And I was like, yo, I've never seen anything like this. When you're going to Sam Goody's and Best Buy, Circus, every place is sold out. That's something with 50. But with Big, it was like everywhere you went, this album was playing. So that's my top 5 right there. Vague, what are your top 5? Oh, we doing R&B too, JR. I cannot forget. Well, you know, let's do hip hop first and come back around.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So Vague, what you got for your top 5 hip hop joints from '97?
All right, I got R&B too.
All right.
My list is more reflective of like just what I kept playing at that time. So it's like there's things that you mentioned that's not on my list that I knew I played the hell out of, but these are probably the ones I was stuck on. Life After Death, Notorious B.I.G. I mean,
now these in order? Is this from 5 to 1?
Not really.
All right.
It's just a 5.
Right.
Well, maybe it is on the low, and I didn't realize. But same thing that you said. I think we knew the lyrics because we had copies of those songs like in advance, and we were playing them to death. But you know, they were like the bootleg copies, so a verse missing, a sample missing, you know, here and there. But I remember going to the record store when it dropped, and it was a different. And I was still in B-more. It was a different vibe because it was early morning in Towson, and it almost felt like a funeral because everybody was dumb quiet on the line. and just looking at each other. Like, because remember, Big just died like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But everybody already knew. You know, most niggas had it like, yo, you heard that shit, you heard 10 crackers. They're like, you know, it was like mumblings and shit. But to your point, man, when that shit dropped, off campus, on campus, it was just crazy. Like, you was just hearing all that. You go to the party, they played damn near the whole double album, just playing joints off of it. So yeah, man, it was a dope time. And what I liked most about it was it was well, there's two things I like most about it. Big fully demonstrated that he could do shit for the streets, he could do shit for the clubs, he could tell stories, he could switch flows because nobody was doing that. Like, put Bone Thugs on here. I don't think anybody East Coast wise did something with Too Short. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just doing it all, and none of it sound forced. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was pretty. He also was the first to do a song with a certain Candyman, but we're not going.
Right. Let's not talk about good old
Candyman. That song in the club though.
Now here's the funny part, Vegas. It's funny because by '97 I graduated, so I'm back in Philly, and I didn't hear anything. I hadn't heard anything but Hypnotized. So like when I got the CD, I got it from Roy and Olney, and like, you know, them hood record stores, they sell it to you a week early or whatever like that. And I just remember, I mean, just hearing the 10 Crack Commandments for the first time, like that Bone Thugs, like the first time I heard that, I wish I could go back in time and just remember what my face looked like, because it was just like, this nigga is doing Bones' style. Like, because I was never a big Bone Thugs and Harmony fan. Of course, I love the joint. Not crossover with Crossroads, of course, you know, but I never was a fan. So I was just like, yo, this motherfucker done took they flow and annihilated to this day. And I know people watching on the timeline don't even do it. It's a waste of time to come at me. I have never heard what comes after Big to this day. I've never listened to the rest of it. I've never listened to it to this day. Like, it's like 30 years later, 25 years later, I still have no idea. You can like kill. You can have the cure for death. You can have all the riches in the world. If you just tell me one word, and I'll be like, Armed and Dangerous. Like, hopefully they picked up with Big left off, but I have never listened. Same thing with that joint, that Big Sean joint, the Control joint. I have never heard anything past Kendrick. I've never heard it. Just never kept listening. So,
with that one.
So, Big, everything you said. But I'm sorry to cut you, but yeah, that joint was just an amazing. It was just an amazing. It was an album. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's what I was talking about last week's show. And I'm like, people don't make albums anymore. I feel like everybody just makes mixtapes. It's like, I'm gonna bar you to death. I'm gonna bar you. I'm gonna give you all this. But these were like songs, like everything, you know, was just, it's an incredible body of work. And if people haven't seen the Angie Martinez piece on YouTube, with, you know, the Making a Life After Death, you have to watch it. But I'm sorry, man. What else you got?
Well, to tie it in real quick to some of the other shows you did, the first time I heard the Bone Thugs joint before the album was Funkmaster Flex, because he premiered it. You
That's
know how
when I heard it.
Dropping bombs, and I was in B-more, but obviously somebody taped the shit.
Right.
Brought it back and was like, yo, Flex played this, and we like, word, Big doing, like they hyping you up, like, yo, play that shit. So I know what you mean. The album is an experience.
Right.
More than just being beats and rhymes and flows and shit. It's an experience. I mean, it's stuff like I Got a Story to Tell. Like, they were playing that in the club, and everybody was just head nodding like we were at a car listening. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was crazy. Common, One Day It All Makes Sense. I was not a Common fan like that before this album. I could not take the offbeat flow. I used to be like, this nigga just talking and the beat is going one way and he going the other. I can't do it. I like the obviously Resurrection and stuff like that, but I think that's where he started to tweak things a little bit. But One Day It All Makes Sense. I remember I used to do this thing. I think I told the story before on your show, where if I, came to NY and I took the bus, before I got on the bus to go back to Morgan, there was like this little like record store in the Port Authority, and I would just say, yo, I'm gonna just pick up an album I probably am not highly anticipating, I never listened to, and that's how I listened to Eminem. But I got the Common joint, and when I tell you, like, I was blown away by it because I was like, damn, I haven't been a fan, I haven't been missing out. Like, are his other albums like this, or is this a turning point for him? And like you said, Kill, all the songs you named, same thing. It's an album, it's an experience. But Retrospect for Life was the one that really got me, because I was like, damn, nobody's rapped about shit like this before. Like, this is real. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's his best album, to be honest.
Me too.
Wu-Tang Forever.
Yeah.
Man, we stayed in B-More that summer, a couple of us. So you know, when there's only like 5 of you, it feels like everybody left but you.
Right.
And you and B-More just working, and we were bumping that shit every day, talking about it every day. And I love the beats. Obviously, Triumph was crazy. I think RZA, I just think they were all like in their bag, like in their prime. 36 Chambers was one thing, but this was like it was written for the Wu. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, nah, they better than that joint. You know, beats are better, everything. And then it was a double album, so you know, the more the merrier. Wyclef Jean, The Carnival.
Okay.
This is kind of also a slept on, but when you talk about something I was playing right next to Wu, because they came out around the same time, it was another thing of, damn, I don't think nobody's ever made an album that's like culturally rich like this. You know what I'm saying? Between the Haitian influences, the Jamaican influences, the American, Jersey, like it was just everything wrapped up into one. And to me, it's like a continuation of the score, but Wyclef's version. I don't think it gets a lot of props. I don't think he get a lot of props for his rhyming style and just being able to make dope songs. But if anybody just want to hear a song, an album that's sort of like a hip hop version of Carnival, right? That happens all over the country, including Brooklyn on Labor Day. This is it, because it just contains, you know, instruments you never hear in hip hop, you know, and Wyclef just being able to kind of be the maestro for that. But it's kind of slept on at the same time.
It's crazy. I've never heard it. I've never heard it. Yeah, I never heard it because here's the thing. You know, we know the Fugees. It was like Lauren and them other two niggas. Then I seen the video for Staying Alive, and I was like, oh no, I'm fucking good. I'm good on this. You know, but you're probably about the literally 9th or 10th person who has said like, yo, bro, that album to me is right. It may not be better than Miseducation, but it ain't that far behind it. So I just need to make the time to go out and check it out. Because like I said, a lot of people have said it. And if you're saying it, then I definitely gotta take it serious.
Yeah, it's one of those albums where you didn't think it'd be that good because you're like, I'm just waiting for Lauren, like
right.
But I got it, and I just remember me and the homies was like, this shit kind of fire, like you know, like this. Nobody makes records like this, you know what I'm saying?
It's right. One of my peoples who loves it, he was like, nigga, it's like BBD. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody expect them niggas to do shit, but they killed it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think once they broke up, it was like Lauren or bust. And it was like, you know, but like I said, a lot of people have said that. So I definitely got tapped into that joint.
And lastly, Capone and Noriega, War Report. Now, originally, when I heard about it but didn't hear it, I was resistant because I have a lot of different friends, right? Athletes, criminal niggas, nerds. I'm a nerd too, don't be offended. But I was like, these dusty ass book bag niggas just want to prop this shit up because they just want to have something. It's shiny suit era, nigga, shut up, right?
Right.
Then I heard T.O.N.Y. and I was like, nah, I ain't going. That shit kind of rugged, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I pressed play and I was like, okay, I get it. Like, it's like Nori don't have to be the best rapper. It don't matter. The best rapper on there is Tragedy, to be honest.
Yeah.
But their voices, their style, the aura of Queens and Queensbridge, the beats, the concept of, you know, this war report, Iraq and all. It was just dope. And I could not stop playing that shit. Once I heard the full album, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it now. This shit is hot. So
Yeah,
that's my vibe.
That's a dope joint. Gerald, what you got for your top 5 for hip hop?
So I got 5. I got Wu-Tang. We played that when it came out in June. It was running that. Carnival, I'm glad somebody said it. You know what I mean? But when I talk about R&B, I think it came out at the right time because, like Vegas said, it was so rich. And we're coming out of 96 because the 2 albums helping that. So it also helped for this to come out with it being so thick. So the Carnival, 3, Harlem World. Harlem World, I got that at number 3. Played that out for real. 2 is In My Lifetime.
Okay.
I know a lot of people don't, but it's a top 5 J album for me. Like, I know it got some fuck ups on it, you know, like, but in all, but I love that album for real. And y'all said everything with Life After Death. That's definitely number 1 for sure. So.
Now, how old were you when Life After Death dropped?
11.
All right. So how was it in your house? Was Pop playing that?
Oh, absolutely. Like Big, like after LL, Big is his favorite MC. So when we got it, we actually got it a week before. And it's just like my memory of it is us riding on Mother Gas and Vegas Stone. They call it Stone, but Mother Gas Boulevard. And we riding on that. And I love the Dough came on. And I just remember my dad just blasting it, rolling down the windows. This is March. So we cold as a mug in this joint. And he just blasting this joint. And we ride it up to where our projects is at. And I just remember him bumping that, and people like, yo, like everybody is loving this album at this time. So like you said, people in Circuit City was rocking to it, and then you go home to Brooklyn and everybody's playing it. So it's like everybody's like nodding to it, and like Big just died like 2 weeks ago. So it's like everybody's in that. So that was crazy. My dad did not stop playing that. You know what I mean? So definitely Life After Death. And then like he said, with the whole Notorious Thugs, it was just like, my dad was like, yo, he wasn't a big Bone Thugs head. So for that and Big bodying it like that, it was like, whoa, you know what I mean? And that's why my dad was like, yo, he's after LL for me. So, but yeah, Life After Death, we ran that. So that's why it's number 1 for me.
All right. Eddie, what you got for your top 5, bro?
I got one that hasn't been mentioned. I got Busta Rhymes, When Disaster Strikes, at number 5. That one, I mean, I personally think that Busta Rhymes album, that's a classic, is his debut. But this one's pretty damn close. Like, it's pretty damn close. But I think it was, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See and Dangerous, and like the videos and just the energy, of it all. You know what I'm saying? I think Busta was getting a little bit more polished. Kind of like if you hear him rapping on Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See, right? It wasn't the super animated Busta Rhymes, right? So he was showing you he didn't have to do that for every song. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember there was a point, if you listen to all of Busta Rhymes features before that, like it was just animated Busta, animated. So, he kind of switched it up a little bit on that album. So that was dope. Got Common, One Day It Would All Make Sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, just really dope album. Like, I mean, even though like I got onto that a little late, but in retrospect, like definitely one of the dopest albums of the year. Like the Stolen Moments trilogy is that shit's crazy. You know what I mean? How he just put that all together. Number 3 for me, The War Report. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talk about that album a lot. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of personal memories with that. Just, hanging with my cousins, getting in trouble. Like, it just was like everything Vegas described, but it just sounded like the environment that we were, even though I wasn't in Queens, but it just kind of felt like that, right? The energy was so super dope. Like Vegas said, they didn't have to be the dopest MCs, but the production and their voices and what they're saying, right? Even like this whole CNN, right? Capone Noriega, but CNN, like the network, CNN Channel 10, then the War Report, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, super dope, man. Then yeah, Wu-Tang Forever, man. I honestly, like, I was probably more hyped for that album than I was for Life After Death, if I'm being 100, you know what I'm saying? Just I was a big Wu-Tang fan, like, just since 36 Chambers, and just like copping all the solos and all that. So, you know, really hype. As you remember, the CD had like the Wu Mansion, you know what I'm saying? Like, it had the enhanced CD. You go into the Wu Mansion and see all the rooms and shit like that. But you know,
yeah, I forgot all about them CDs that you used to buy. The CD-ROM joints that you used to buy the CD on the computer. I forgot all about those joints, bro.
Bonus features. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like the way Triumph just had everyone hyped for that shit, like that deck curse. But you know, I would go back and forth, like, which CD is the dopest. Like, at first it was like first disc, then it was like, nah, the second disc is killing. But you know what I'm saying, to have that, I mean, I don't know, man. And then so you had that double album, and then you had the Biggie double album, Life After Death, which, you know, obviously, you know, big, man, you know, his untimely passing, whatever, man. But that album just gave you everything. I mean, you know, you had, you know, Biggie just spitting, you know, storytelling. You know, you had the party joints. You had like joints like Sky's the Limit, where he was introspective, telling you about himself. You had songs for the lady. I mean, everything. You know what I'm saying? Like Vegas and y'all said, like, he was rapping with Bone. He was rapping with Too Short. You know, it's everything, man.
You know what else I didn't mention, but I always forget? Just the producers on there. I mean, he had RZA, Havoc, Primo, like,
man, The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah, like, he had everybody on there, which is crazy.
And Mo B, Clark Kent, you know, was Buck Wild, you know what I mean? Like, almost a who's who of producers and everything like that. I think the biggest thing with Big, and again, back to last week's show about what we missed, I remember reading how Puff took everybody, like, to an island, Jamaica. They went somewhere to record that album because he was like, and it was similar with RZA. Like, RZA recorded Wu-Tang Forever in Cali because he was saying, like, in New York, niggas would get a page and niggas would leave the studio. You look up and you like, yo, where the fuck the ghost go? Nah, nigga, we going somewhere where don't nobody know nothing. And it was like, I felt like that was Puff's goal with Life After Death. Like, we're gonna make an experience, and to do that, we can't do that shit in New York because niggas is that we going somewhere where niggas can't do shit but work on this album, you know. And I think that's what we got. And I was saying that about the Pete Rock Common album. Like, niggas like, you excited? I'm like, yeah, fucking Common comes to New York for 2 months and just ain't no fucking writing no verses, you know, in between acting and whack ass T-Mobile commercials. No, like, nigga, all you're doing, you're not reading no scripts. You're not thinking of, all you doing is you in the studio with Pete Rock. Like, it's just something about, like you said, just making it an experience. And I don't think we get that anymore. Slept on albums. One of my favorite albums that a lot of people don't talk about, Equinox, Organized Confusion. You know what I'm saying? Love this album. The single was Somehow, Some Way. They Don't Want It, Question, Sound Man Move, In Vitro. To me, it's just a crazy album that a lot of people don't talk about. Artifacts, that's them. You know what I mean? The lead single, Artifacts, man, we played that at 889. I don't know how much. And to this day, I still love that. Queens was a good year for 97 because you got Royal Flush, Ghetto Millionaire, man, Worldwide, and Iced Out Medallions. I mean, bro, I was just listening to Worldwide yesterday. Like, yo, that used to be my shit. I also had the Cruise Dirty 30, which I love, just had like 800 songs on it. And then we got definitely shout out the Illadelph legend Trey Lee's Many Faces. Love that album from the theme to One Step Beyond with God, what's the name of that joint? I forgot. On the Edge, so many dope joints on there.
Stars in the East.
Stars in the East, thank you. Stars in the East with One Step Beyond. So again, those are my slept on albums. Veg, what's some of your slept on albums from '97?
All right, I got 3. OC Jewels, man. I mean, in any other moment, that probably would be considered a classic amongst most hip hop heads from back then. Play that album to death. Got the cassette back there somewhere.
Yeah, man. This thing's special, man. I love this joint, man.
From top to bottom. Even had the single you talked about that people didn't want. I bought that off the rip because I was like,
far from yours, I thought it was dope as shit.
I thought it was dope. I was like, yo, he not compromising any integrity. And the one thing I used to hate about that back then was you don't know these individuals. You don't know what they like. They may like the dress and throw a chain on and a silk shirt or whatever. Just because they rap a certain way and was introduced a certain way doesn't mean the person, like Nas, for example, doesn't like that stuff. You know, he couldn't afford it. But now when you can afford it, you do it. So, but I thought OC made the perfect radio single for him. And I really enjoyed it. Camp Low, Uptown Saturday Night. You're right, Kill. That one of them records was out, like, I think when I came to Morgan.
Yeah, Cooley High, I remember seeing that on Rap City. Like, and I'm like, yo, these dudes is dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just took forever to come out, but when it dropped, man, like, I just loved it because there was nothing like that in the whole vibe of rap around that time, especially with the mixtape era, was like bars, like radio hits and bars. Like you was either doing one or the other, but them having a concept that was like, 70s blaxploitation, and Luciano was just infectious because that was a record that played right in the club next to Big and everything. Guys went crazy, ladies went crazy. You see it today. You see,
bro, let me explain something to you. If Lucchini gets played and you don't smile, nigga, you the feds. You either the feds or you say one of the two. There's only 2 explanations. If you looking like that, I mean, from the cover was just crazy, which is on some old Ernie Hines joint. You know what I'm saying? Which actually Ski samples this for that album, so it was just so dope. With this album cover along with the joint, saluting good times for everybody out there who may not have heard it. Very dope album, right?
And the video for Sugar Come On. I think that was the one that had the
that was the joint with the whole good times. That's the joint that Ski used as Curtis Mayfield joint for.
And Thelma was in it, right? Still looking good too.
And then I love the fact that because to me, I don't know, I think it's Geechee or Suede. I don't know which one is which, but he sounded just like Ish from Diggable. So I thought it was so dope that they did a song together on there, you know what I mean? And that's the end of the Lucchini video when they take the mask off, and it's like, I thought that was just dope as hell, you know what I'm saying? Because I always would be like, damn, they sound just alike. So I thought that was real dope.
The other slept on I have is Scarface, The Untouchable.
Okay.
I think cats thought Scarface run was up. I mean, standout cuts, Mary Jane. I love that record. But also Smile, one of the best Tupac features ever. Like, similar to Big having that really dope verse or a couple of verses on Keep Your Hands High on Trey Lee's album. Feeling like, damn, Big, he's getting better. This was the same thing with Pac on Smile. It was like, and he got 2 verses. Scarface put 2 of his verses on there. Obviously because Pac had passed also, but it was just the confidence in his voice. You know what I'm saying? Shit he was saying, it wasn't none of that East Coast, West Coast stuff. I mean, obviously he had certain themes he always ran with. But just the album as a whole was dope. But I think there was so much coming out, and there was so much that had happened, obviously, with the aftermath of Big's death as well as Pac not that long ago, that people just gravitated to certain things that were happening. Like we said, Fugees was on fire at the time. So yeah, man, I felt like Scarface was slept on because I didn't get to it until years later. And I had already heard a couple singles, and I was like, damn, this album's hot, but nobody talks about it. So.
Right. Eddie, what you got for your slept on?
All right, I got also have Trey Lee, Many Faces. You know what I'm saying? I think it's an album that, you know, everyone knew the single, you know, and, you know, maybe they knew Keep Your Hands High, but, you know, a lot of people weren't really talking about that album. You know, I'm not sure. I obviously Kill, like, you being from Philly and then where you were at, like, it might have been different buzz, right? But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it got enough buzz for as dope as of an album. Like, revisiting that album is just solid, right? The theme of it, like, with, you know, the different characters and all that, like, really, really dope. I gotta go with Super Duper Fly by Missy Elliott. You know,
Okay.
Yo, I feel like, you know, Missy is an artist that is people are divided on. Let's be honest, right? But I say, love it or hate her, like, she kind of came with a whole new style with that album. Like, she kind of changed the game. Like, people may not like me saying that, but she did. You know, I thought it was dope. You know what I'm saying? For sure. You know, you don't have to think someone is like the best lyricist or whatever, but I was feeling what she was doing. Like, she had her own style, man, and it was fun. Definitely brought the fun with it. You know what I'm saying? And then the last one I got is the first Sound Bombing.
The Raucous joints.
Yeah, Raucous joint. I feel like that kind of birthed the whole movement. You know what I'm saying? That Sound Bombing, you know, is not the best Sound Bombing. I feel like Sound Bombing 2 was the best one. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, definitely, you know, has some joints on there that kind of really sparked a lot of careers, for sure.
All right. No doubt. Rel, what's good, baby?
What's good, y'all?
Bringing home them W's for Philly. I see that, man. I love seeing it, man.
Yes, sir.
What was the score today?
22-12.
All right, for people that don't know, Rel coaches high school football, so, you know, gotta bring them wins.
We down 12-0, and then turned up.
All right, that's what's up. We're gonna get back to you in a minute. JR, slept on albums for this year. What you got?
I only got two, and I got Tracy Lee's Many Faces, and I got Queen Pen's My Melody. And that was the first album that my mother actually gave me the money to go and get for her. It was in a cigarette case, and she had that. It was in a cigarette case, yes.
The album?
Yes, like in the cassette. It was a cigarette case. And you open it, and then the tape was in there. It was like a Newport type.
Yo, the funny thing, I thought you were saying your moms gave you the money. You know how mothers had them purses, them little change purses? I thought you was explaining how your moms gave you the money to go get it.
It was her joint was in a cigarette case. And
all right.
let me go get it. And the reason why those two, because my dad got, you know, Trey Lee's joint because of Big being on it. But he had this joint, Give It Up, Baby. And he using the sample, that same one that Queen Pen used on the setup. So my mom was playing that and my dad was playing that. So it was like they were kind of battling. And it was just dope.
Yo, I love your house, man. I love how, you know, you're like your mom's is this way, but pops is that way, and you just we see when I tell people how you gotta raise your kids, this is where you get this R&B.
Yeah, like, and it was crazy because you know mom is such a soul head for her getting this album for hip hop and my dad getting that, and it was like he liked it and she liked it, so it was kind of one time they kind of connected on hip hop with a song using the sample. So those two, My Melody and Many Faces with Trey Lee. So those are my two.
Right. No doubt. Rel, what's your top 5 albums from '97?
Okay. My top 5 from '97 is The War Report, Life After Death, Jules, Wu-Tang Forever, and hold on. 1, 2. I'm missing something. Wait a minute.
You're missing one.
And I had it right. Hold on. Wu-Tang, War Report, Life After Death, Jules, Uptown Saturday Night.
All right. No doubt, no doubt. Anything you want to say about them joints? Anything specific about them?
Yeah, so what's weird is we all know how classic Ready to Die is. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's weird that I listen to Life After Death more than that joint. Like, I don't know why I don't know. I really love Life After Death, bro. Like, I think it's the best balanced double album that I have ever heard from an MC to me. Like, it's just balanced so good and sequenced where the songs are and all this is perfect to me. You know what I'm saying? Then it ends that second disc so eerie with those 3 songs that ended. What is it? My Downfall, Long Kiss Goodnight, You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You. Like, it's in my opinion, it's almost perfect, bro, for a double album, bro. And I still, you know, I go to that more than I go to Ready to Die when I want to hit big. You know what I'm saying? The War Report is another one. Excuse me. One of my favorite albums. Me and my best friend, we were Mobb Deep junkies, and this was along those lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really know who Capone and Noriega was at first until, you know, the LA stuff, and then I heard Nas shot him out on Take It in Blood. So I just remember I picked up a single that they had. It was Illegal Life and Stick You from the store without really hearing them, and I was like, yeah, I can mess with this. Then Tragedy, like, you know, say what you want about Tragedy and his different personas, but his imprint on this album was crazy. Like, he helped make this album what it was, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Capone got locked. Nori really didn't know how to carry an album by itself. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like his influence helped make that album what it is. OC, Jules, I feel like OC had 2 back-to-back classics, those 2 albums. Like Jules, for me, like, I don't skip no song on that joint. Like, I don't skip no song on there. Like, it don't get talked about a lot from other people. I think we talk about it, but, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my favorites. Wu-Tang Forever, of course. I think it's not as good as Life After Death for a double album, but it was real strong. And it got the highs on there are really, really high. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple songs I could have did without, but for a double album, like, that you're gonna have that for the most part. And what was my other one? War Report.
Saturday Night.
I mean, come on, man. Like, the production, the style, like, all that that's another one. Like, I'm trying to think, what do I skip on that joint? Like, I don't know. And it was their own lane. It was like nothing like that. Like, there's no album that you be like, yeah, that sounds like Uptown Saturday Night. There's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So those are my 5.
The funny thing about Uptown Saturday Night, bro, now that you said that, I actually skipped 3 joints, but this is still a 5 mic album to me. I skip Say Word, Negro League, and Nicky Barnes. Like, those 3 joints right there. I skipped those, but to me, this is still a 5 mic album. And that's probably like the only album I can say, like, yo, I really skipped 3 songs and it's still a 5 mic classic for me. Any slept on albums for that year?
Yes. One Day It All Makes Sense is slept on when people talk about Common's discography. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of my favorites. Like, it's up there, like, at the top for me. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I think this is? And let me know what y'all think. I really honestly think a lot of people got onto Common after the light. So I think for a lot of those Common fans, it literally starts with Like Water for Chocolate. Like, I think prior to that, people were kind of like, you know, they may know I Used to Love Her. You know what I mean? But the average person, that light put Common in opened up a whole new lane for him as far as fans go. So I don't think a lot of these Common fans even know anything about One Day It All Makes Sense or Resurrection. It's literally just, that's like his debut album for them. You know what I mean? So I think that may be a reason, because I think Resurrection is a credible album that nobody talks about. So to me, it makes no sense that you got two back-to-back. If somebody said Resurrection was 5 mic, I ain't mad at it. I don't agree with you. It's a strong 4, maybe a 4 and a pass, but so for an MC to have two damn near back-to-back classic albums and nobody talk about them, and then it all starts with like Water for Chocolate, which is an incredible album, I think it's just that after that Light came out, more people, that's when women started fucking with Common. That's when he started getting into movies. I'm not all women watch. I'm not talking about all of y'all, but let's not. A lot of y'all start fucking with Common once he got on that big screen. I'm like, that nigga don't look the same goddamn way for the past 3 years. This nigga ain't done shit different. The nigga ain't go to the gym. Nigga look the same way he look right now. The nigga look like on One Day It All Makes Sense. It wasn't no shorties asking about what's up with your man Com. It's something about once you get on TV. Something about that shit just elevates your ass up a couple of levels. Because there was no way in hell Com was a sex symbol. Ever. Now this nigga in movies and women be going all crazy. Like, nigga, cut that shit out, man. Sorry, bro. But I think that's why they don't. Because I think for a lot of people, it starts with like Water for Chocolate.
Yeah, and if that's where you start with Common, like Water for Chocolate, and then you go back and listen, so One Day It All Makes Sense, your mind should be like blown a little bit, like, cause this shit is like, it's better to me. Like,
here's the difference. It's lyrically better in my opinion, but those new fans that he got, I don't know if they care anything about lyrics. I don't know if those fans that started liking him from the Light care anything about stolen moments. Somebody stole his shit. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole new fan base that ain't us. Because we knew about them. They the ones who did.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna say this whole year is slept on, but so there's a lot of slept on albums to me. Stone Crazy from the B-Nuts, slept on. I had another one. I think In My Lifetime Volume 1 is slept on. And his discography, a lot of people think is whack. And I'm like, the highs on this album are some of his highest ever. Like,
some of his best
highs
songs
on this album are high.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
like,
I call this shit a Baltimore half and half. Half lemonade, half iced tea. Half of it's crazy, half of that shit I never want to hear again.
I think that's the problem.
This literally. Oh, go ahead. My fault, Eddie.
Yeah, I think that's my problem. It's so disappointing because like the shit I love, like, you know, 1,000,001 Questions and all that, like, but then it's like,
I know what
bullshit,
girls like,
you know.
Oh, that's a horrible ass song. Oh.
Yeah.
Like, dog, who's A&R in this? Like, yo, nigga, you got a song with fucking Babyface and Foxy Brown? Like, nigga, the fuck? You know what I mean? Singing Alexander O'Neal? Like, nigga, you got a song? What's up? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody, I think it's all about expectations.
Yeah.
So when I put that in and I hear 1,000,001 Questions and Rhyme No More, I'm not expecting to hear That's What Girls Like. I'm not expecting to hear The City Is Mine. I'm not expecting to hear Sunshine. I'm expecting to hear fucking Master P, Bout It Money. What's that joint? Imaginary Players. You know, I'm expecting to hear that. I'm expecting to hear Friend or Foe Part 2. I'm expecting to hear Where I'm From. Like, so like you said, the highs are super high, but to me the lows are just low. And I get it. He's trying to figure out Big's formula. I feel like this album is when your cousin got grandma's recipe for macaroni and cheese and she trying to figure that shit out, and she tried that shit during Thanksgiving. It's like, motherfucking Talitha, don't do that shit during Thanksgiving. You try that shit back then in October and get it ready for Thanksgiving. You don't fucking try to get grandma's macaroni and cheese
album
right
out in November though. That's why.
Yeah, you can't break it out like, yo, you can't. But so I felt like that's what Jay was trying to do. It's like, okay, how do Big do it? Okay, he do it like this. Okay, let's do that. And it just didn't click. And he said himself, it didn't click until Money Ain't a Thing with Jermaine Dupri. And then he kind of got the formula. So, you know. So, but yeah, I feel you. Because like you said, some of his greatest songs, I heard Friend or Foe Part 2. I was like, yo, this motherfucker can't do no wrong. And then I heard Sunshine. I was like, he can do wrong. He can do wrong.
You hear how arrogantly disrespectful Imaginary Player is? Like, that shit is like, like looking down on somebody. You like that shit is perfect, bro.
And the wildest part is the best part is he ain't even rapping. Like at the end, like what's the
right.
You gonna probably jump on my dick right there in front of your bitch. Like, yo, homie, yo, big homie. Yo, what's the difference between a 4.0 and 4.6? Like, nigga, 30, 40 grand, cocksucker, beat it. Like, nigga.
Right.
Jay had niggas going back to the goddamn fucking auto spots, the trade day cards and the X5 we get at the baby mom's. Oh, mad niggas. Oh, no, I can't drive no X5 no more. Fuck, that's the baby mom's car. Or you had a Range 4.0. Oh, no, fuck that. Gotta get rid of 4.0. Gotta get rid of that, you know. So Jay had niggas changing everything on the move, man.
Real quick. One thing that I guess people forget because it was subliminal, but that was a Mace diss. Because when Mace shot those darts about all I hear is platinum that, platinum this, but nobody got no platinum hits. That was a shot at Jay. So then Jay made imaginary players like a grown man. He was like, "Those ain't Rolex diamonds. What the fuck you done to that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's spanking shorty. Like,
because Mace went and got his Rolly bust down. Like Rolly's wasn't bust down like that with the dot. Mace went and got his joint bust down, and Jay was like, "Them ain't Rolex diamonds." what you did? Like that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Like you said, the arrogance in that song is just on a whole nother level, man.
Crazy. It's crazy. So I got Equinox, and I got the Dirty 30, which was a cool idea, but the 30 tracks kind of hurt it. Like it's just, you know, but it was some solid.
My shit on there was Pronto, man. Pronto was my shit.
That beat was crazy. And I think
crazy.
I think that's it for me. Before I stepped on.
All right, JR, R&B side of things. R&B side of things. I can't wait to see JR's tone of face. We're not going to get to the vibe yet. We're going to talk about the top 5 first.
Okay.
Top 5. Number 5, I got SWV's Release Intention. Love that album. Oh, man. I absolutely love that album. JR, I know you're not a huge fan of it, but I love that album. Number 4. This is where I'm going to get looked at in tone of face. Mary Share My World.
I'm mad at you. No.
Okay, cool. Let's keep creeping. Number 3, I got Erykah Badu's Baduism at number 3. Number 2, if y'all don't know, y'all gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Chico DeBarge's fucking debut album. Man, I don't know what's even.
You always say that. Yeah, I do that.
On my list.
Yo, long time no see. Yo, let me explain something to y'all. I saw the video for Iggy with Nia Long. Rap. I was like, yo, when is this nigga dropping this album? This is a 5 mic album to me. I love everything from beginning to end on this album right here. And number 1 is my favorite Janet album ever, the Velvet Rope. I just think, I think it's Janet's dopest album. Just love it to death. So yeah, that's what I got. Vague, what you got for your top 5 R&B?
Top 5 again. These joints I was just listening to like crazy. Love Jones soundtrack. Played that to death. Just everything about it, because the movie was already fantastic. Shit, the movie damn near slept on. Probably the closest to a real black relationship. When I talk about the Tyler Perry Tubi shit, y'all be watching.
Talk that shit, man. Talk that shit. Hi, Barbara. How fucking Tyler Perry worth like $8 trillion and can't get a barber in Atlanta, my nigga? Yo, niggas haircuts on them shows should be the sharpest haircuts in the world. Terrible. Them shits be looking like they just somebody with a party fucking city. So fucking.
They comparing this nigga to Spike Lee? Stop.
Just stop. Right.
Stop.
Right. Not even close. For real. But so many joints on there from different artists. Obviously, Lauryn Hill. A couple of people I can't remember at the moment.
Vague. You know the Lauryn Hill joint, Sweetest Thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the Fugees' Roots beef started from. Because if you listen to the Sweetest Thing, listen to Sweetest Thing, and then go listen to Respond React off of Philadelphia. And it's basically just Respond React slowed down. So go listen to Respond React, and then go listen to fucking The Sweetest Thing. And that's supposedly what got them started with their little beef when they was on that tour. Like them, it was Roots, Fugees, and Goody Mob. And like every night they was kind of like battling each other. But that's where that stemmed from that Sweetest Thing joint.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so everybody watching, go listen to Respond React off Philadelphia, and then The Sweetest Things by Lauryn Hill. You're gonna hear the similarities that's real similar.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dope album though. Still listen to it to this day. Mary J. Blige, Share My World. Now, originally when it first came out, I'm a huge Mary J. Blige fan. You talking about What's the 411? Then My Life. And this was so different. The whole time I'm listening to tracks like that's alright. That one's alright. The more I listened, I was like, all right, give Mary some room to breathe as an artist. Experiment, because later she would experiment in ways that I was not on board with. So this shit is excellent in comparison. You know what I'm saying? Probably it wouldn't. I don't think it would be in my top 5 Mary albums, but at that time, I loved Mary, and Mary had a new album. And I was just like being supportive, like shit. I'm gonna listen to it, but I had some skips for sure.
Yeah.
Usher, My Way. I wasn't. When Usher first dropped, I was like, these little niggas for my little sister. This is what she listens. I'm already listening to Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, and Temptations, and I'm young. But then when he came back with this album, I was like, okay, Usher, okay, And that one single, what's the joint? Damn, it's in my head.
Which one? He had about 4 of this.
Wait, what is it? What was the lead single?
You Make Me Wanna.
Yeah, Make Me Wanna. Where everybody was acting like because he took his shoes off while he was dancing.
Like, yeah.
Like, no, the nigga was moving. He took his shoe off. Like, okay, like
on beat.
On beat. Yeah, I ain't gonna front. Usher is pretty good with that because just sidebar, when Michael Jackson had that tribute, remember the one where they doctored his face and shit? And he was up on stage, and I think it was like Usher and Chris Brown, and no, I'm mistaken. When Diddy performed at like MTV or whatever, but Usher was on stage. This nigga swung his chain, but I never seen somebody chain spin in the air on their neck that long.
He do that, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is that special effects? Then I was just like, you know what? I gotta give Usher some dancing props because the fuck is that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but the album itself, though, yeah, that was like my personal introduction to Usher as far as like becoming a fan. Chico DeBarge, I loved the single. Didn't know what to think about the album. I didn't even have it. I just decided to listen to somebody else's copy, and I was like, okay, I think I need to get this one, add it to the collection of tapes. If you're from the 90s, you know what them tapes mean,
Really?
Right. And lastly, John B, Cool Relax.
I got that.
I played that joint to death, man. Like, and I used to feel like at a certain point, even though like then he wasn't slept on, I just feel like he gets forgotten about today. So you almost never hear about John B. And John B had some joints, some dope albums, but Cool Relax, man.
He hit it. Yes.
Heavy rotation, like all the time. When I needed a break from hip hop, that was one of them albums I could just throw on. The heads would be like, yo, what you listen? You listen to Capone and Noriega? No, nigga, I'm listening to Cool Relax. But that was my fun.
All right, Eddie, what you got for yours, bro?
All right, let me start with John B because I got a story. So John B, Cool Relax, and love that album. Obviously, like They Don't Know was just that was my shit, man. Love the whole album. So Meet My Wife, right? And like this was later on, right? But start meeting her family, whatever. Find out, all right, your dad's a bass player. and I'm like, oh, what has he done? Whatever. She tells me, yeah, he went on tour with John B. It's like, went on tour, the Cool Relax tour.
Oh wow.
He was,
Wow.
my father-in-law was on tour with John B playing the bass. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Damn.
So, yeah, it's great. It still blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. I'm not going in any particular order, but I say that Chico DeBarge, yeah, Chico DeBarge was dope, man. Like, came out of nowhere, man. Like, I'll do Usher My Way. You know what I'm saying? I agree. Like, I liked, what was that single on his first album? Like,
Think of You.
When I Think of You. But as far as like the whole album, this was the album that really made me a fan like that. Baduism, Erykah Badu. Still love that album. What else? Is that 4? Am I 4?
Yeah.
And then Velvet Rope, Janet Jackson, man.
Right.
There you go. Jay, I'm gonna let you come in last since you the closer. Rel, what you got for your top 5?
I got the John B. John. Like, I agree with Vay. Like, he don't get like brought up like that. He kind of gets slept on. And this album was really good. And to be honest, I don't know if many people heard his other album, second one, Pleasures You Like. It's some heat on there. There's some fucking heat on that album, and it do not get talked about, bro. Like, if anybody never haven't listened to that there's some heat on that album. I got Velvet Rope. I got All That I Am from Joe. I got that's a he that one song is in the way.
That Hater on your list.
Yeah. He was on there hating. But that album is strong though. That album is strong, man. You get past him saying that bullshit. That album is strong. I got Baduism and I got Share My World. Now let me say something. Like, I'm like might be in that minority. I love Share My World. Like, I love that album. Like, so I had I was on a trip and I didn't have any music, and this was like what I had to listen to, and it kind of just, I don't know, I just kind of like, I heard it so much that it just was like, at that time, like, I played that shit. Like, I would go from like Vegas, I go from the War Report to fucking Share My World. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's some songs on that album that I love. Like, I love that album. Like, I play that joint to this day. Like, everything is my like you got those songs that like that make you happy. Like, the songs like that put you in a good mood. Like how Optimistic from Sounds of Black.
Right.
Everything puts me in a good mood. That song just, I don't know, just a good vibes from that song. So that's my 5.
All right. JR, what you got for your top 5?
All right, so number 5, I'm coming with My Way with Usher, which was a breakthrough album for him. Like, it's like he had to do great with this, because the first album didn't really do what he was, but he was singing grown ass songs, so it just didn't connect. You know what I mean? Like, so people wasn't really feeling it like that. But once he got with Jermaine Dupri, and it just worked, and he bodied that joint. I'm gonna say number 4, Mariah's Butterfly. Yeah, this is an album that she was leaving Tommy, and she did an album that she actually wanted to do. You know what I mean? Everything else was labeled. You need to do this and this and that. You listen to this, you know that it's like authentically Mariah. You know what I mean? So that was dope. Number 3, I'm gonna say Baduism from Erykah Badu. Listen, Erykah came in 97 and completely smashed. It was like, it was her. You know what I mean? She came in with that beat in the beginning, and she was letting Mary know, I'm coming for you. And she said it. Like, the beginning of dun, 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 of On and On is the beginning of Real Love. So she was letting Mary know, like, yo, I'm coming. You know what I mean? So
now, do you know this, or did you travel back in time?
Said it. No.
Okay.
Erica had said that. Erica has been on so many interviews and said it, like, yo, I'm a fan, but I wanted people to know, like, that's why she wanted that beginning in On and On, because she was like, she wanted people to know, like, Mary, I'm coming. You know what I mean? So that number 2, Share My World, Mary. Obviously, y'all know I'm a Mary fan, so. But that was the first album that Mary came out, just like you say, Kill, with Hard Knock Life. That was the first time that people was half and half. People wasn't feeling it, people were feeling it. And it was just the first time that everybody was like, uh-oh, what is this? We don't know. But Mary was being an artist, she was working with big producers, she left Buff and all that.
Question. This Share My World is post Wait and Exhale soundtrack, right?
Yes.
Okay, that explains a lot, because again, after that Not Gonna Cry, she went to a whole nother stratosphere. Mary left us.
Right. So
Mary was for hood people.
Right.
Up until Not Gonna Cry. After that, she had grown ass women who were now fans of her based off that one song. Because that shit was a soundtrack too for a lot of women. That I Was Your Love and Your Secretary and all that shit, and You Left Me, and that became a fucking anthem. So where, it's your anniversary, you play Tony, a nigga leave you, a whole bunch of black women getting together, and they gonna play Not Gonna Cry. That shit is that's that. So that kind of now makes sense of why the album was kind of half and half, because she wasn't just making it for us no more. She was making it for everybody.
It was so bugged that Andre Harrell didn't even want her to do it. He was like, nah, I don't think this is gonna be great. And Babyface is like, are you kidding me? This is Mary. Like, people gonna feel her on this record. Like, are you crazy? So he fought her to do it, and that's why I made it a little easier for Steve Stout. Because the same time he was doing stuff with It Was Written, he was finding stuff for Mary. So
but here's the hard part too that we have to think about when people don't want artists to grow. Because I almost could feel Andre. Like, this isn't Mary. What's the 411 My Life Mary? I mean, the reason why I'm saying, I think it's just once you get with Babyface, and it's great that you said it was written,
right?
Because it feels like the same way with Nas with the Track Masters,
right?
You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like if we kept Nas with Premier, Large Professor, and fucking Q-Tip, would we see Nas right now doing what he's doing? Probably not. He probably is forgotten about. If Mary just stayed with rhyming over, top billing and stuff like that, would Mary still be able to be on this new Puff album? Probably not. So that's the thing that just as fans, we have to kind of look at that. Sometimes you got to make moves and put out music. Yeah. If Jay stayed the Reasonable Doubt Jay, is he a billionaire? Probably not. So again, it's just, the bigger picture. And again, at this time, I'm not thinking of the bigger picture. I'm a kid. I'm not a kid, but I'm like 24, 25. But now being 49, looking back at it, it's like, damn, that's a great analogy. Share My World to It Was Written. Like, these albums had to happen in order for them to be able to have a longer lasting career,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really quick. I mean, for artists in general that want to have some longevity, you got to expand your audience if it isn't big, if it ain't huge out the gate or expansive out the gate, because Nas was niche, right? Hallways and projects and all of that. But like I said earlier, personality-wise, he was Esco. They all were. You know what I'm saying? Wearing Bally's and dressing fly and all that was always a part of it. So he had to expand, and the same thing with Mary. I think with Mary, because I was, as a big Mary fan, I loved Not Gonna Cry when I heard it. I loved the video even more because of the all black with the black lipstick. It still felt like Mary to me. You know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of like, oh, well, it ain't hip hop beats, but I'm not immune to R&B and soul style music either. So I could dig it, and I mean, she for damn sure had the style to cross over in that way without compromising anything.
And I don't want anybody watching think I didn't love Not Gonna Cry. Just like Vegas, I loved it. But what I mean by it wasn't Mary is I don't think you could put Not Gonna Cry on fucking, Be Happy, on My Life.
You could.
I don't think I can hear that. I that's just me. I don't think, because it's so clean. Like, even Don't Go.
That's
off
where
of,
you
of,
at.
of
Okay,
My
I
Life.
get it. You get it from the
So it's not that she couldn't have done a song about that, but it wouldn't have sounded that clean. Like the same way people say If I Ruled the World. Nas is bodying that shit. Lyrical wise, he's not no slack. He's not like doing no ABC rhymes, but it was just too polished. It was like, nah, like, yo, you ain't supposed to be with the track master. Like, Mary, you ain't supposed to be with Babyface. Same thing with Boys II Men. When you go to Babyface, you're leaving us. You know what I mean? If we can just go back to 95 and really kind of think about that, it's like Boys II Men, 93, this is us. Dallas Austin is doing it. Dallas fucks with Illegal. Dallas fucks with Monica. Oh, you going to Babyface. You know what I mean? So now you're going for that crossover again. I'm sure, I can't say I'm sure, Drew Hill's biggest hit is probably either that one that they did with Babyface about Eat You Up Like Reese's Pieces, or the Soul Food soundtrack, We're Not Making Love Anymore. That's not their biggest songs?
No.
All right.
It's In My Bed, which is by Daryl Simmons, which is down with Babyface. So you're right, like, in a nutshell, like, In My Bed is their biggest record, but it was by Daryl and that whole LaFace stuff.
And we're going to talk about that during the vibe of 97, because there is a crossover feel that's now coming into music this year. And you got to pay to play. If you want to play, you're going to have to pay. You know what I mean? And to some extent, but we're going to get into that. Your number one, I'm assuming, is going to be Velvet Rope.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
Is that your favorite Janet album?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Janet just went inside herself to me. And it was very authentic. And it was like, there was no more. You felt her on that record. It was life-saving to me. Like, it was just something about it just connected to me at 11, that kind of how Rhythm Nation connected to me to go to college. You know what I mean? So it was just something different, and it was thick. You know what I mean? Which we're going to talk about the vibe of 97. It was just thicker than what the Janet album was and what, Rhythm Nation was. It had weight to it. So that's, so definitely that was my number one album.
All right. We'll stay with R&B. Singer of the Year, I got Erykah Badu. Producer of the Year, I got Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Vay, what about you? Who's the singer of the dopest singer of 97?
I think I'm going to have to say the same thing you said. Because even though I didn't have Erykah on my list, I definitely had the debut album. There just wasn't a voice like hers out around that time. And even the music and the poetry and the hip-hop influences, it was different. Like JR said, you could look at it as like I'm coming from Mary, but it was a totally different vibe. Like, Mary was more street and hip-hop with the feel and the look and all of that, whereas Erykah was more like throwback soul music, but she just so happens to fuck with hip-hop as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I just wasn't used to a voice like that. It was like a Billie Holiday voice, damn near. You know what I'm saying?
We're not doing like what you call it with R&B either.
Stuff on, yeah. You can do your stuff on and yeah.
All right, gotcha. My fault.
R&B, I mean producer. I don't know. I didn't really look at all the albums to see who was really doing work that year, because it seemed like it was a couple people between Jermaine Dupri and Babyface and shit, probably even the Hitmen.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, any slept on albums, Vegas? R&B?
Shit. I think I have one. No, not really. I think John B was kind of like my slept on.
All right. Eddie, what about you? Singer of the Year, Producer of the Year.
I think I agree with Erykah Badu, because it's like she came out, like no one was sounding like her. You know what I'm saying? Like what I love about what she did is like I describe it like she was coloring, but she didn't mind coloring outside the lines. Like she was just making her art the way she wanted and did not care. But her voice just kind of fit that, you know. And I love what she did on that. Producer of the year, I don't know. I'll say probably maybe Jermaine Dupri, because you know where he took Usher. Even though I know Babyface had a part in that as well, but I'll probably say that.
All right, Ro, what about you?
I had the same as you. I got Erica. Like that, her when she came on the scene, it was like something we never really heard or seen before. Like she was, like it was a splash. And for producers, I had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, which is crazy because, like, how many years can you say you give them producers? How many years you can just say them? Like as default sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just amazing to me, you know what I mean? So that's what I had. My slept on album was the Mariah joint. Like during this time, like everybody was remember everybody was trying to make songs with Bone Thugs and Harmony, like rappers and everything. That joint she got with Bone Thugs and Harmony is crazy.
Breakdown,
like that,
crazy.
Breakdown is executed perfectly. That song is crazy. So yeah, that album was fire, yo. So that was my slept on joint.
Damn, you know what? I forgot about this joint, man. I forgot Breakdown was on here. Breakdown is on here, and Baby Doll. My God, man. Stevie J. It's fucked up that people only know Stevie J for fucking Love and Hip Hop because he was one of the dopest fucking R&B producers on the planet for a minute, man. Yeah, that's definitely dope. Rel, here's the funny part about Erykah Badu's influence. I was around my way right there on Lime King Pike, and I seen some girl walking by with an incense in her ear, like it just sitting there, and I was like, and if you know anything about me and Rel's neighborhood, ain't nobody, no goddamn body walking around fucking with no incense, let alone incense like in their ear like a straw. I said, look at Erykah work. Well, I tell you, man, you know, that's when you know that influence, man. It's that Medusa spell. It's them green eyes, man. If anybody out there meet Erykah Badu, do not look in her fucking eyes. Don't do it.
That's what Bilal said.
Don't do it.
Bilal
don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't look at it.
Walk around if you want to be looking like Common in a goddamn fucking tight ass sweater. Don't you do it. JR, what you got for your singer producer?
Hold on. Erykah Badu held my daughter as a baby, which is crazy.
You didn't look in her eyes though, did you?
I didn't know, but my daughter.
But she graduated early, right, or some shit.
Yeah, my daughter's amazing, so she blessed her. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah. She may have the power. You need to warn these niggas out here not to look in your daughter's eyes. Your daughter be having niggas fucking cleaning gutters and everything.
Yeah, when she was a baby, her mom, my daughter's mom, her father worked at a radio station, and I was going to pick her up to go with me, and Erykah Badu was holding her, and I was like, what the? It was crazy.
Well, I'm just glad you came in with your eyes down. It's funny, when I was in LA, I was watching the old school Clash of the Titans when he had the Rumble Medusa. I love that scene, like from when I was a little shorty. Don't look in Erykah Badu's eyes, y'all. Don't do it. You see what happened to Cobb. JR, what you got for your singer and producer of the year?
Yeah, I agree with y'all with Erykah, and I'm a toss up, but I'm gonna have to give it to Jam and Lewis. For real, I'm gonna have to give it to them. So Erykah and Jam and Lewis.
All right. Any slept on albums?
Oh yes. I was gonna say 5 was Release Intention. 4 was
now what was your beef with Release Intention?
Because it was SWV featuring rappers. And they ain't come in like that. So for me, you can tell that it was a whole different A&R on it, which was Harvey Pierre, who was part of Bad Boy. So we already know what that album was about. It sounded like a Total album to me. It didn't sound like an SWV album to me. You know what I mean? SWV didn't need all those rappers on their record to me. You know what I mean? So it didn't feel really authentic. To me, Rain saved the album to me. And like When You Cry and them joints, like of course, you know what I'm saying? Of course, y'all as hip hop lovers will love it because of all the rappers on it. But for me,
you getting old when you get looking at the CD and you gotta get your phone with the magnifying glass to read the print. Like I'm like, I don't pull out the CD. I'm like, okay, well that ain't gonna work. So let's try this. Okay, right. So someone releasing tension, losing my cool, love like this. Can we? Rain. Okay. Yeah. All right.
It was all rappers, so that's my problem with it. It was like,
no, I can definitely see that. I forgot Lil Caesar was on this album. Why is Lil Caesar on this?
Yeah, you got E40 and Snoop Dogg. Like, come on, like, nah, B, nah, dog.
I won't hold you though. That title song with fucking Foxy Brown though, that was shit.
Oh yeah, that joint is dope, and I like Lose My Cool with Redman. Like that joint is dope too, but it was just too much. You know what I mean?
No, I see what you're saying. I see
someone with Puff on rhyming. Get the fuck out of here. Like,
yeah, that threw me off because I'm like, God damn, Big just died. Didn't fucking 10 Crack Commandments come out the same year?
Well, Coco and them did an interview is when the album came out, and she was like, this half-ass song. That's what she said. She was like, this half-ass song. She was like, they couldn't even be creative with this, but of course she had to do it, but she went in on the record for real. But before would be Anytime Brian McKnight. That was like a breakthrough album for him to go commercial, because before then he wasn't. But when he
did Brian McKnight? Brian McKnight was always R&B.
I mean, he always was. Like he always was that guy. But once he did You Should Be Mine and had Mace on it.
Right. I just feel like that first album, he felt like he was R&B, but something else. Like almost like not like jazz, not like, because I was gonna say God, what's his name? Will Downing. Like I know he's not in that.
A little bit like that debut was kind of like that, and
like Will Downing-ish. And I felt like when he did that song on Martin with Never Felt This Way About Loving, I felt like that was kind of like his breakout being on Martin.
Blew, right. That was kind of how like the album really blew, because he had This Is What Love Is and all that stuff, and then One Last Cry came out, and that was his lane. You know what I mean? And it just blew up for real. So Anytime, y'all said Cool Relax is number 3. I'm gonna say number 2, Johnny Saturday Night. Yeah, that joint was flying so bad. Confusion on there, Crush, like that album doesn't get speaking about. Everybody talks about, you know, the debut, obviously pronounced Johnny, but that Saturday night is dope. Like, what?
You know what I just realized? I never heard that album, right? Yeah. And I'm sitting here wondering, why did I miss all these albums 97? Because I was in motherfucking Atlanta fucking dead broke. That's why I didn't get none of these damn albums. I'm sitting here like, I ain't listen to that shit either. Like, nigga, when I say I was dead broke, like, I always tell people when I moved to Atlanta, it's like with Superman, and nobody's gonna remember this. Young people at home watch Superman 2. He gives up his powers to be with Lois Lane, and he gets into a fight, he gets his ass whooped. I felt like when I left EAA, all my superpowers went away. I just went back to being normal. Nigga, you ain't getting in no clubs for free. You ain't getting no shit for free. You ain't getting no music for free. Nothing, nigga. You gonna have to pay for it. I felt like a civilian. Like, I was like, oh shit, I gotta walk in the record store. How much is a CD now? Like, I ain't bought a CD in fucking 5 years. So but that's what it was. I was dead fucking broke. So when I got money, it was like, this got to be some shit. So that is why I didn't hear so many of these albums then.
Yeah, Saturday Night. Still, I think you would definitely like Saturday Night.
KG did this too?
For the production, yes. So
I need to tag that.
It's definitely an upgrade from, you know what I'm saying, pronounced Johnny. Like, they killed it for real. So, and my number 1 is Rashawn Patterson's debut.
Okay.
That debut is everything to me. They played that a lot in New York, but obviously the reason, because of the vibe of 97, he didn't get no love from it. So, but that is definitely, you know, an underrated joint for me. So those are the 5 underrated.
All right, back on the hip hop side of things, the dopest MC for me in 97 was Big, for everything we said from Life After Death. Slept on MC was OC with Jules. I don't know why I've always said Jewels. instead of just Jules. I don't know why the fuck. I don't know. I would listen to Dipset too much. I don't know. But OC,
I mean, it was 97. That's
yeah, I wasn't even out yet.
Enunciating their.
Well, but it's just I don't fucking know. But definitely slept on for that. Producer of the year, I got to go with the Hitman. I mean, they were sprinkled out throughout Big's Life After Death, Puff with No Way Out, Mace's Harlem World. We just talked about Jay-Z, Where I'm From. I think I'm in Lawrence did that. They did, Nasheem did You Must Love Me for that. Trey's Many Faces, D-Dot and Ron Lawrence is all over that joint. So I just feel like, 97 was just the Hitman year for everything they did. Slept on producer, I'm going with No ID for Comm's One Day It'll All Make Sense. And a lot of people don't know that No ID had an album out that year called Accept Your Own and Be Yourself.
Be Yourself, yeah.
The Black Album. I think that's one of the reasons. That's a dumbass title. Like, Accept Your Own and Be Yourself. Like, okay, thanks. Not a good album title. Like, nobody's remembering that shit. But the album wasn't bad. He's not the best rapper. But I just remember it's so dope to see where No ID is now, because during these times I used to be like, yo, I love this dude. He's so dope. And I don't think he's ever going to blow up because he just does albums with Common. Like, he wasn't producing for other people. So it's just crazy to now see him doing albums with Jay-Z and the stuff he did with Killer Mike. Now, if I see No ID's name, like, I'm still just as much brought into something as if I saw his name back in 1997. And I think, to me, that's crazy because that's what got me into Killer Mike. I'm reading the article, No ID. I was like, oh, okay, bet I'm in. Like, that's all you had to tell me was No ID, and I'm in. And I think he killed that joint. So, Veg, MC and producers, who you got for 97?
So y'all know me and Kill had the same fucking birthday. We have the same exact list.
Wow, look at that.
Big.
Yeah, it's Aries, bro.
Yeah, make it up. Big, Hitman, No ID, OC. Big for obvious reasons. All in a double album. He did a lot that his peers, not that they had to, but just didn't do. OC, again, very slept on MC at that time, slept on album. With the Hitman, I absolutely agree, because they wasn't only touching hip hop, they was touching R&B as well, and everything was just hot. Like, that was their moment too in 97 with everything. That was Bad Boy Summer. They had albums going diamond. We didn't really talk about Puff Daddy and the Family album, which had a ton of dope beats, and they worked on that as well. And then the same thing with No ID. I wasn't familiar with No ID until that album, because the album's hot, and you like, damn, who did this?
Right.
Because Primo was all over 97 as well. But it was just surprising for me because I wasn't familiar like that with No ID, but just the work he put in, and what I like most about his work as just a producer, and unlike the Hitman being a bunch of producers, is the variety. Like, he can just give you so many different vibes and looks, and they all sound authentic. They don't sound forced. He knows how to work with an artist as well. So yeah, again, I wasn't the biggest Common fan, but I bet you No ID was like, all right, the beat is here. I need you to be somewhere around that area. Right. Just so you kind of on beat. You don't have to be to the drum of everything, but but yeah, totally agree. Exact same list.
Dope. Eddie, what about you? Dopest MC and dopest producer?
Gotta go Biggie. Gotta go with the Hitman. I mean, I was thinking about because you had the No Way Out, Mace's album, and like you said, what they did on Many Faces and all that. Slept on MC, I gotta go with Tracy Lee. You know what I'm saying? Because he was barring that shit up and didn't get no damn respect. So I gotta agree with No ID as far as slept on producer. The funny thing about No ID is that on that album that Kill mentioned, he had a song same year that Big released his album, had a song also called Sky's the Limit with damn near the same exact hook.
Wow.
Same. Listen to that album. Like, listen to that song, "Sky's the Limit." I'm like, what the? I don't know if that was intentional or I don't know.
Right, no doubt. Bro, who you got for yours?
So I got basically I got Big, MC, producer. I'm gonna go. I got hit. Well, I have a particular hit, man. I got Nasheem Myrick.
For that Tony, that T.O.N.Y. joint too.
That T.O.N.Y. was crazy. I remember looking to see who produced that, and then I saw his name, and I just started seeing his name everywhere. Like, he was all over on J shit, on Big shit. Like, he was everywhere. So I got Nasheem. OC slept on MC, and No ID slept on producer. I have another slept on album I forgot. Royal Flush is slept on as well for that year. That's an album I played a lot. Moving On Your Week production was my shit. Like, I played that shit heavy. So
lines. Yeah, what about you?
I'm with y'all. I got Big as MC and Hitman because hell, they was every damn where. So I got that, but I don't have a slept on. So
all right, no doubt. Let's talk about the vibe of '97. It's the beginning of the shiny suit era with Puff's No Way Out, Mace's Harlem World, and everything like that. But one of the things, I think it was me and I can't remember who on the timeline we're talking about. We were going back and forth. It's like, yeah, but the shiny suit era ain't started till '97. But I was like, the Trackmasters looping shit had been going on. So the radio airplay started before the shiny suit era. People try to equate the two together, but there was people trying to get on the radio in '95. You know, people were trying to get on the radio in '96. Keeping in mind, Nas is making fucking If I Ruled the World in '95. It drops in '96. So there was that term, but now we're fully invested now in people having to make songs for the radio, which makes me not upset with OC's Far From Yours. You know what I mean? Because you hear that, but then there's nothing else on the album. Okay, you didn't like the R&B singing people. There's no other R&B singer on the album. I remember Ghostface had his first single was with Carl Thomas one year. You know what I mean? Nobody was like, oh, fuck, Ghost, he sold out. You just had to play the game. Like, it was just the game that had to be played. I just got past whatever the first single was and just looked forward to whatever was coming next. Please, people, don't tell me y'all forgot about that goddamn Roots song, Don't Say Nothing, which is fucking horrible to me. It was a Scott Storch song. The beat was techno. There wasn't a chorus. The chorus was like, don't say nothing. It was fucking horrible. The Roots stands out there like that song don't fucking exist. It existed. I was on OK Player back in them days, and them niggas was trying so hard to fucking explain it. There was no explanation. You had to do what you had to do to play the game if you wanted to keep coming back. You were in the clubs. You were there. How did you feel about the shiny suit era? Do you feel like that ruined hip hop? Not the clubs, not nothing else, but do you feel like that ruined hip hop or did anything negative towards it? Or it was space for both of them?
It was kind of like the gift and the curse in some ways, because I mean, hip hop was always about dancing and having fun. So I didn't have any problems with party records, because I mean, I started out there, when that stopped. Even though it kind of stopped for a minute. I think in a lot of ways it forced a lot of people to want those kinds of singles and videos, because for once rappers were making a lot of money and selling a lot of records on a regular basis. So it was like everybody wanted a piece of it, and it felt like Bad Boy had the formula because they were the ones kind of like driving. But at the same time, it's tough to say it ruined hip hop when you got the War Report and you got other hip hop albums from like OC and Camp Lo and other people dropping albums that don't really go in that lane, at least not heavy. So it was like, I think people just didn't want to see it happen, and they were making more fun, and it felt like it was diluting hip hop. But in a lot of ways, it just expanded the audience to a greater audience in a lot of ways. Because I think what people don't think about is sometimes party records or whatever it may be is a gateway drug to the real shit, right? Somebody finds hip hop through a Puff song they like, right? Because their parents play it. Then there's that one dude like, you want to hear some real Biggie shit? That's the Biggie, and it becomes a gateway, and they become the hip hop head that people think they're not gonna become because they think everything could be that. So in a lot of ways, like, you know, it was cool in the clubs, but there were times where it felt like people were reaching, like Mike Geronimo, because I was just like, when did you start? Like what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's why that year hurt so much, because again, I'm broke. So when I went out and brought In My Lifetime, and it was a half and half album, it was like, nigga, like, you know what I mean? And then when I went out and brought Vendetta, like coming off of the Natural, and it was like, here's my 1385, like down to the fucking penny, like, god damn it, there you go. This ain't no swiping, no drawbacks, just making it rain. This is like, all right, I'm not gonna get no fix, I'm not gonna eat tonight, but fuck it, I know Mike Geronimo came with it this year. I think that's why 97 hurt so much, because I was so broke. So it was like, when you broke that 1387, boy, that and you don't get a good album, like at least you pay 1387 and you like, ooh, it's the best shit I heard all year. It's like,
right.
I know what girls like, nigga. I know what boys like. I want to eat, nigga, and I ain't eating because I done brought this fucking album and shit, nigga. Like, so I think, yeah, Mike Geronimo, that shit hurt. Because I'm just putting it all together. That's why I love doing these shows. It's finally hit me after all these years. I was fucking broke. So for me to buy your album, and all I got from Mike Geronimo was fucking, what was that joint, Unstoppable, that Pete Rock did? Like, it's like literally one song on that Vendetta joint. You know, I seen the video making.
With, like,
he might have, but I was so.
He had a apology cut with some good
Usual
people.
Suspects, something like that.
I don't know. All I remember is just making moves with Puff, and it was just like, yo, where the fuck is the Beat Miners? Where's Mark Spark? Where are all the producers from the Natural that did not make it on here? So yeah, goddamn Mike Geronimo.
Yeah, it was funny because it was like everybody had to have one, right?
Yeah, you need the Puff song. Like, you needed one. Like, Coco didn't like fucking anthem. Yeah, like Coco didn't like the goddamn someone, but that shit was banging everywhere. I remember the video was everywhere. Right. Like, that shit was everywhere, you know. So yeah.
Like even like I mentioned Tracy Lee album, like Party Time in the Club, shit.
Yeah.
It was getting heavy rotation. Queen,
you needed that.
Heavy rotation. But
and
it
again,
was like some people were hating, some people weren't.
Right, and it's so funny because I remember getting that in the mail at 889. I was so hyped. Niggas like, yo, your man L Rock, he got a deal. He Trey Lee. I put that shit on. I was like, nah, this ain't it. Because I'm expecting boom bap. Like, I'm expecting some, you know, boom bap, and I'm like, everywhere my crew go, you know, we get down. Like, whoa, like, and again, incredible song. But again, I always give the analogy: you at a restaurant, you ask for a Sprite, the waiter brings you water, you taste it. Ain't nothing wrong with the water, but you just was expecting that Sprite. You was expecting something from it. It's nothing wrong with Party Time. It's the man's biggest hit. It's just, it's not what I was expecting coming off of the same thing. Like I said with the Roots, if the last thing you heard was Silent Treatment, and you enjoyed that jazzy, you know, live instrumentation shit, and then the next thing you hear is Clones, you're gonna be like, yo, whoa, slow down. Like, niggas is yelling at me. Who this nigga Mars just spazzing? Like, it's a total different shift than which I remember I didn't like Devil's Pie at first when I got the 12-inch, because I see D'Angelo and I'm expecting Lady. I'm expecting some smooth R&B. You know what I mean? So I put it on. I'm like, it's D'Angelo? And I mean, of course, I love the song now, but it's just your expectations. You know what I mean? The fuck y'all niggas thought when I first heard Can I Get a What?
I still don't get that song to this day.
It was in Def Jam Rap Bay. I'll never forget. We was at Dave & Buster's in Philly. We met up talking. Yo, hear the new Jay-Z. I ain't have no CD player in the whip, man. I probably flew up 76 Lincoln Drive, tearing that shit up to get to the crib. Like, yo, who did this Premiere, whatever. And I put that in. I heard that beat. I was like, yo, what is this techno? What the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is wrong right now? So again, it's just expectations. I think 90 that year that a lot of people's expectations were not met with what they thought. So even people who didn't like Far From Yours, their expectations was where's Time's Up? Like, this ain't Time's Up. Why he got some singer on it? So I just think a whole lot of people's expectations, whether it was good or whether you thought you was getting hip hop or whatever it was, you didn't know what to expect in 97. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the first times in hip hop you could buy somebody's album and be totally blindsided by what you heard through those speakers on the way out. What were you gonna say, Eddie?
Did you have the same for Biggie? Because, like, you see, with Biggie, like, with Ready to Die, he had the different types of songs. Like, I remember when Hypnotize came out, I was like, I'm feeling it, kind of, but I was scared. I was like, if this is his first single, where the hell he going? Right? I
personally wasn't, but I do know a lot of my friends from Brooklyn don't like Hypnotize. Like, they hate that shit. I didn't think anything of it because I kind of saw, for me, we saw the path that Big was going. Big was going to be the problem, like you're saying, that you had that problem with Life After Death. I had that problem with Ready to Die in the beginning. Because it would be like, this Juicy, I don't like this Juicy. But then it'd be like, Who Shot You? And then it'd be like, or it'd be like Warning. Or it'd be like, oh, I don't like this One More Chance remix. But then it'd be like fucking unbelievable. So I think that, like, I felt that from Big the first time. After the One More Chance remix, I kind of knew, like, this is the Puff. You are the poster child for being able to make a song for the radio and a song for the street. So I didn't have to worry about it because I already knew he was capable of doing both. I know if he's going to give me a Hypnotize, I'm going to get a kick in the door. Like I said, you go back to Ready to Die, it's like, oh, I ain't really feeling this rhyming over him too, mate. But then it's just every time I'll be like, I don't know, Big, he would always show and prove. So I think for me, that's why I didn't have that feeling with Life After Death, because I knew if anybody could do it, it'd be Biggie. And I actually like Hypnotize. I like Fucking You Tonight. I like almost damn near every song on the album. If there's any song I didn't love at first, maybe More Money, More Problems. But you hear that 8 billion times that summer, it's kind of just like, it's More Money, More Problems. So I think that would have been it for me. Another thing, I found this out, the Source magazine in 97, this was the first time that it outsold Rolling Stone magazine. So this was like the Source I guess people were now respecting, the Source magazine. Whereas, again, like you said, Vegas, it's the gift and the curse. It's great because people are seeing it, but we liked it when nobody knew about the Source. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, now that you're doing selling more copies than Rolling Stone, are you going to start doing a little more bullshit because you like that now? Like, you like being the number one magazine or the number one music magazine? Are you going to go away from what you used to do? Wu-Tang Forever was the first hip-hop album ever. I never knew this, to debut number one at the US and the UK. You know what I'm saying? So, didn't know that. Big dying. Like, that was huge for 97. I don't know if you all were gonna go around where you were at, how you heard it. I want to say I was in Philly, and the crazy thing, I want to say Tanya called and was like, yo, did you hear? And I was like, nah, like, hear what? She was like, Big died. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, so I remember being in my mom's kitchen just being like, oh shit, like, damn, and it just being so crazy because Pop just died, you know what I mean? So it was really like a oh shit moment. Veg, were you in Brooklyn? Where were you at when you found out about this?
I was at Morgan.
Okay.
I was off campus in Dutch Village, and I remember we went to a party that Saturday night. So Sunday, we straight vampire life, like sleep until whenever. And I remember Jay came in the room like mad early, woke me up. It's like, yo, they shot Big, and I didn't know what he was talking about at first. I thought he was talking about somebody we knew, right? Because it didn't resonate. And he was like, nah, they shot and killed Biggie. And when you know how you get hit with some news and you just woke up,
Right.
And it's kind of like you hadn't even had a moment to even think about the day. Like, it's sunny outside. It's not. What time is it? Blah blah blah. So I know for me it was pretty heavy because, you know, Big was my favorite rapper. He's from Brooklyn, you know, not that far from where I grew up, and also not being home, right? To hear that news, it just felt some kind of way, felt different. But as big as a fan I was of Biggie, or we had a friend from the BX. We had to go check on that nigga because you want to talk about a huge Biggie fan. I was like, I'm sad, but I think we need to check on him.
Right.
And he was highly upset, but it was a because you kind of felt like something might happen just because of all the beef surrounding the whole East Coast West Coast thing, and we weren't as connected as we are now with social media to get information so quickly. So your mind just raced and rumors were spread and you just didn't know who or what, and you didn't know if it was just him or it was him and C. So it was just a crazy moment. And just to add one last thing that's related, I think with the source, Pac and Big dying within that span of months put a lot of eyes on hip hop and probably put a lot of money on hip hop. So those albums going, like Pac was going diamond after his death because that was setting another thing where it was like, oh, dead rappers kind of do well, you know what I'm saying? And then Big dying right after that. So it was a weird time in '97 where there was these highs of, you know, the best record sales ever and hip hop is at its highest state, but then we lost two of our, you know, greatest MCs in a game within a span of months. So,
yeah, crazy. Eddie, what about you? Where was you at when you heard about Big?
Honestly, like, I don't remember too much where I was. Just being honest, I just remember hearing about it. It was probably just like with anything, you know, hip hop, probably with my cousin. You know what I'm saying? Like, my cousin is the one who introduced me to Big, you know, from the jump. You know what I'm saying? First Big record I heard was like my cousin. So, but the one thing I do remember, I remember getting the album Life After Death and just feeling weird about the whole theme of the album, right? Big had just died, right? And the album is Life After Death. You got Big in a black suit, you know, you got the hearse, you got the whole shit. It was just like, it was just eerie, you know what I'm saying? Like, something about that didn't really feel right, and especially Ready to Die being the first album and then Life After Death, you know. Yeah, that just kind of didn't sit well with me.
I think the craziest thing about Big and Pac is that they're so linked. You know what I'm saying? From going from the friendship to going to the beef to both of them dying at 25 to, like you said, everything feeling so weird with the you know, the album cover, and then, you know, Pac doing I Ain't Mad At You, like, you know, like, yo, you done got shot, now you it just, like you said, it just seems so strange, and it's even stranger that it was both of them. You know what I mean? Like, I remember being like, oh, yo, this, you know, I ain't mad at you. Like, when did this shit shot? Is this some old, you know what I mean? Like, and then, like you said, just with Big and the album titles and the way he is on that hearse and everything like that. Yeah. Both dying at 25. And you think about that, just, you know, now that we're blessed to be older, just think about how young 25 is. You know, dying at 25 and like so many things, you think of like your life and what you've accomplished since 25, and like if none of those things, you know, were able to get done. So it's just, it's so crazy that they're both linked like that. I don't know why my dumb ass actually watched Notorious the other night while I was on TV. It's the fucking worst casted movie. I'm still can't get past Antoine Fisher playing Puffy. Derek Luke to me is forever Antoine Fisher. I don't know who this little boy is playing C's. Isn't that like Losing Isaiah? Isn't that nigga from, no, like dead ass from like that movie Losing Isaiah? Like, this is the nigga. You know how offended I would be if I was seized? Like, this is the motherfucker y'all got. This what I look like to y'all coming after Big, like losing Isaiah. But, bro, talk to me. Where were you at when Big died? We know what you did. You risked your life for life after death. So where were you at when you found out Big died?
So this is probably the most vivid rapper death that I remember in my life because he died on March 9th. My birthday is March 8th. I had a birthday, thing that the previous day, right? And I remember I was asleep and my boy called that morning and he said, yo, they killed your mans. Now I'm from Philly. And mind you, I'm young, but
your mans could be a lot of people.
What? Yeah, like I'm like, huh, what? And the first person I thought about was my man B Jones because B Jones was the first from our age doing shit like that he wasn't supposed to be doing. So I'm like, what?
Right.
And he said, and my man said, Big. And I was like, for real? And it just was crazy, and it led to like events that I will always remember. You know what I'm saying? When he passed, of course, we know the story about when the album was coming out. They had something on the radio where you can go to this little thing at the record store that at midnight, and you can get the album. And I stole my mom's car and I went. We all know the story. I stole my car. My man Bilal went with me. Bilal was one of them kids who would stay out all night. Like I wasn't that. So that's we had those in the neighborhood. You kids could stay out all night. I was
Parents
not
ain't
that.
give a fuck.
Yeah, I had kids, friends whose parents didn't care. I was not that. I'm not gonna sit here in front. I had to be in the house, but I stole my mom's car and we went and got it. And to piggyback off what Eddie said, like that, listening to it, I listened to it that night. That was the eeriest shit. The end of that album is so eerie to me based on what happened. Like, you hear My Downfall and somebody on his phone talking about I'm gonna kill you and what he's talking about, and then he ends the song with you're nobody till somebody killed you. I'm just like, what the I'm like, I just turned 15. I'm like, what the? I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm done. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what is going on? Like, this is not a coincidence, bro. Like, this is too eerie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I just remember that, like, and that was I was upset about that shit, man. Like, for real, like, and it just was like, where are we going? Like where are we going with this? Like, with the beefs and all that, like, it's like when you had something like that happen, you like, there's no turning back now. What are we doing? You know what I mean? I didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I remember that shit like vividly.
Yeah. It's funny, like you said, just with this saying, because even on My Downfall, we be like, building with the Rugas from the Rugas, dying ain't the shit, but it's pleasant, kind of quiet. Watch my niggas being right. Like it's just like, you know who killed them, Phil. It's just like, yo, like it's just crazy, man. Just crazy. And JR, what about you?
Hold on, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tell that last verse on you're nobody to somebody kill you. Tell me that's like not how we talk, like about stuff like when something happened to somebody, you can't remember his name. You're like, the boy wore suede in the rain. Boy put the G in game. He had the Gucci frames before Dana. Just dark skinned Jermaine. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you until he was, you think he's killed. He's like kind of like who he is, but he kind of like an afterthought. And then it's like, oh shit, dark skinned Jermaine. That shit was just ingenious, but it was very eerie. Very eerie.
Yeah. Gerald, what about you?
We was in New Brunswick at the time, and my mom actually went on a trip with the family to New England, and I was with my grandparents. And that was a night that we just came in, shopped, we was listening to, our record player, all that kind of stuff. And then we went to bed, and I just remember us cutting on the TV, and Eyewitness News. That's when you know hip hop is big. When you go on Eyewitness News and they say, yo, the rapper Notorious B.I.G. was shot and killed. And I just remember my grandma was like, is that Biggie Smalls? And I was just quiet. I didn't say anything because I was just like, nah. But like y'all said, in the events before then, you kind of knew something was going to happen, but you didn't just think like, now it's reality, like this is real, like. And I just didn't say nothing. And the people on, that lived downstairs from us knew we were from New York and we were from Brooklyn. And I just remember just being quiet, and for like 5 minutes it was like quiet because my grandparents was just looking at me and it was like, yep, Junior, you got anything to say? And I was just like, nah, like I don't even know what to say, like I'm just wow. And then the next thing you know, the people downstairs throwing Hypnotized, and they blasted. They were blasting it, and that was the first time my grandparents was like, let it ride. Because before then, they were just like, before then, don't play that shit and that hip hop and all this and that. But obviously, they saw how it connected to me. And when they played it, and I don't even like Hypnotized, and I was just in there just like I was just going crazy, and my grandparents was like, we ain't even gonna bother them, let them. And then I remember turning on Hot 97, and everybody was just talking about it. It was just, and like y'all said, it was very eerie after then. It felt very eerie after then. And I just remember my mother coming home and she was like, y'all heard, right? And we was like, yeah. And I just remember calling my dad when he was on the road, and he didn't even know. And I was like, yo, Dad, Big died. And he was like, get the fuck out of here. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I don't even believe you. And right after, on his CB, the joints that they got in the truck or whatever, he was like, yo, like after I talked to him on the phone after he was at the truck stop or whatever, he was like, people were talking about on the CB, y'all heard that guy, Biggie Smalls died, and he was talking to them, so he was able to connect to some people through that. So it was just that, and I would vividly remember that, like me just sitting there like, I don't even got nothing to say, like I just don't. And so when Dad came home and we got ready to die and we got to Brooklyn and blasted it all, it was just that moment like, yo, this shit is real. Big ain't even here no more. So yeah,
it's crazy, man. Just think about all this is just so fucking crazy, man. Terrell, to your point of what comes next, is
right.
This how every rap beat? Because for people watching, you gotta realize, like Veg said earlier, we didn't have the internet like that. So the news that we got was like snail pace news. We're in the era of we gotta wait for a whole month for Vibe and Source to even give us any more information on everything. So this isn't where you just go to Twitter and nah, we was moving slow back then. So it's not like you said, I forgot who said it, was C's hit, who else? It's kind of like we just had to wait. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I remember thinking like, damn, is this hip hop beef now? You know what I'm saying? Like, and everything like that. So just the crazy thing. I don't even know if that's crazier now that Keefe D is in jail, like what, 30 years later? So I don't know. Any other, Gerald, what was the vibe of R&B this year? Like for instance, with the SWV thing, did you feel like that's where R&B began to make that transition into getting more features from rappers or whatever?
No. In 97, I didn't think about that because coming out of 96, it was like D'Angelo and Maxwell kind of like changed the narrative of everything. It was like now everything is thick again because you had Timbaland come out with the Aaliyah project in 96. So it was like, and Genuine. So everybody was focused on this new production now. You know what I mean? So then once, Maxwell and D'Angelo were popping, it was something thick again. And then Erica comes out. Erica changed everything. 97 was the year of Erica. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people got put under that. And that's why Rashawn Patterson didn't get the love he deserved. Adriana Evans didn't get the love that she deserved because everybody was under this. Now we had a name for this stuff that we had.
What year did Adriana was 98?
No,
97.
97.
Oh shit! Well, I'm sorry. This slept on out. I slept.
Absolutely, yes.
This is
gonna
it
talk
right
about
here.
that. Yes,
This is it.
it was the fact that it was like they thought that now we had a name for something, because we said in the last show that D'Angelo and Maxwell, we didn't have that neo soul name. So now when Erica comes out with Baduism, now we have a name for it. She's the queen of neo soul. So now everybody is getting thrown into that. You know what I mean? And it was just like some people kind of got swept under the rug. But then I think also 97 was kind of the year of people bringing out albums that meant something to them. Like we said, Usher came out with his album that was his breakthrough. Nobody talks about the Usher project because he was young. It was like nobody really, it was a Puff produced album and it was just too young. Then you had Mariah that came out with Butterfly. She was leaving Tommy, so this meant something to her. You know what I mean? Then you had Mary that came out with Share My World. That meant something to her because she left Puff. You know what I mean? So it was like, I gotta win, because if I don't win, and that's why it was easier for Steve Stout to come after Not Gonna Cry and be like, all right, she's commercial. She's no longer for us. So now I gotta find producers that's gonna get her that crossover success. So then you got that. Then you got, Janet coming out with the Velvet Rope, which was very personal to her. So I think it was a lot of personal stuff in 97, but I also think Erica just came in and made the splash because she came out in February. So it was like, it was the year of Erica. So if all that you got compared to her, and a lot of people kind of went under the radar with that. Even again with Brian McKnight. Like we said before, those first two albums people didn't really pay attention to. But once he got with the Hitman and got You Should Be Mine, everybody's paying attention to him. He's having that commercial success. So I think I think 97 was really the last year that you can really kind of distinguish between R&B and hip hop to me. It was like, this was the last year and that was it. And that's why I'm not a big fan of Release Some Tension, because now I see where it's going. And when you look at 98 and you look at the R&B charts, it's nothing but hip hop. That was the number one albums then in 98. It was X, it was Outkast, it was J, it was this. And it's like, now R&B is fighting, you know what I'm saying, for that. And so it was like, to me, it was really the last year of really when you knew the difference between the two. So.
All right, no doubt. Again, I forgot this was 97. Please, if people watching have not heard this, yo. And it's so funny because, Eddie, what we were talking about, this is one of those enhanced CDs where you put it in your CD joint. I don't know what happened, but for people watching who are younger, that was the shit where you could put this into your hard drive, or I don't even know what you call it because we ain't got them no fucking more. But you put your CD in there and it do some shit that was amazing for 1997. We laugh at it now in 2023.
Listen to that album, catch that we did. Me and Elise did on that whole album. We did it actually with Dart, and we talked about the whole album in full and why it didn't get the love it deserved and all that kind of stuff, and why it shouldn't. People thought it was a neo soul album, and y'all know, listening to it, it ain't no neo soul at all. Like, it's really a strict R&B
for my hip hop heads, it's on Loud Records. This is Loud Records.
That is another reason.
You got that too.
Hey, I got a question real quick. JR, was it because of like the way certain people looked that they were getting put in that neo soul thing,
That's
like
another
Sean
thing.
Patterson,
Yes.
like because of, you know what I'm saying, like, and then you hear it and it's not even that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
It was that because Erica gave. A lot of people don't want to admit it, but Erica had a gimmick. Her gimmick was all of that. You know what I mean? Like the incense and the this and the that, and don't look at Erica in the eyes and all that. That was her gimmick. You know what I mean? Like, it just was. So once she blew, everybody that came after her, if you had an afro, you got put under neo soul.
Don't have no locks. If you had dreads, you were definitely
done. You're getting put under that. So music even talked about that. It hurt them in the 2000s because it was like, we're throwing everybody under this neo soul cap, and when you listen to Adriana, she's not that's not a neo soul album. It's not even thick like Erica, but they compared it to her. You know what I mean? And then Planet Groove didn't help because they would also give these artists like, you know, the whole, you know, special at the time. Erica had hers, then the next week it was Adriana, then the next week it was Rashawn Patterson. So everybody looking at them like, oh, they're following her. You know what I mean? And Rashawn Patterson just got an afro. He ain't got nothing. Like, that's just what it is. And you throwing him in there with Erica? Like, no. If you listen to these albums, it's completely different. But like Kill said, another thing with Adriana, she was on Loud. They didn't know what to do with her. And that album was done back in 95. So if they would have brought that album out in 95, it might would have done a little better. But then label stuff started happening because she was on Capitol. And then they left from Capitol and went to Loud. So it was shit. In 95, she would have to go against Groove Theory, which, you know what I mean? So it was just, it's just a lot. But that's why I said the year of 97 was all Erykah Badu, because she kind of changed everything, because everybody was getting compared to her. And thank God Mary did share My World, because if she didn't, she might would have even been compared to Erykah Badu. So thank God she took that route, and Steve Stout was like, nah, we're going to put her with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We're going to put her with Bryson Wilson. We're going to put her with all these other big names, because if we don't, she's going to get compared to her. So, and Rodney Jerkins. So it was smart, but 97 was the year of Erykah. That's why she has to be the best vocalist of the year, you know?
No doubt.
Yeah, well, one point on that. Well, a couple of things. Erykah kind of, not that she started it, but she first kind of presented the whole look and vibe of the whole Afrofuturism situation that's popular now. Two, at Morgan, the fucking head wraps kill. Everybody, mad chicks you've known for years, right? When you came in, you had influence. All of a sudden, you show up in class, you mother sunshine, and I'm like, what? I was like, damn, Erykah crazy. But I think one other thing that she did in '95 that I think took it even further was the live album and Tyrone.
Yes. Oh,
that shit said
that was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right. So
yeah, that's a good point with that live album, man. Other Side of the Game was my shit too. That video with 3000 in it, I think that even solidified her even more with hip hop heads. Was like, oh, you fucking with 3000? Like, oh, okay, like that's dope. That's real dope. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely dope. Rel, where can they get at you, man? We got to start pumping this album again, man. We got to come back with another single. What's going on? Where can they get at you?
Yo, Uptown Rel 215 on the gram, JBen 215 on Twitter. The album Caught in a Moment is out on my Bandcamp. The link is in all my bios, and it'll be on like Apple Music and everything next week. Yeah, check it out, man. Give it a listen. Like I said, there's something for everybody on there, and put a lot of time and effort into it. You know what I'm saying? So get on there, find something you like, and check it out. And I'm back in the lab, so yeah. I'm gonna holler at you, Vic, too. I got an idea, Vic. I'm gonna hit you up.
Rel Tresvan. And don't forget Del Steak Life. We got some new episodes coming up. We got a rack of people. We got a rack of people sending us places to go, man. I don't know what niggas in Baltimore that fell and them bumped they fucking head. They like, yo, we got dope and cheesesteaks in Philly. Nigga, just slow the fuck down. Just stop.
They going crazy.
Just stop.
They going crazy.
This is, it's almost like with hip hop. It's like, yo, take it a step. You a habitual line stepper. Like, just be like, yo, we got some good steaks up here, man. You know, but no, we better. So we definitely doing some spots up there. So we back in effect. JR, where can they get at you?
R&B Reps. Well, when this comes out, the episode we did is with Sherelle's Affair. A lot of people don't talk about Sherelle a lot. So this is an episode where you're gonna learn and kind of really enjoy It's really, really a dope episode. We talked about it with Mark Chappelle, who's part of Albinism. And it's really, really a good episode. Yeah, R&B Reps on Instagram, R&B Reps on Twitter. Me and Elise got some stuff really in store, which we're building, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So, yo, share us, all that good stuff. R&B Reps on Instagram, Twitter, RBReps.com. Get you some merch there and all that good stuff. And Junior's World of Soul and Naturally Elise. That's our stuff on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Have you heard the story of how they made I Didn't Mean to Turn You On?
Yes.
Incredible, man. Flat out fucking incredible.
I was like, what? That's why Jam and Lewis is just
they're the goats. They're the goats. It's why I always tell you gotta have your ears open.
Yes.
Quick version of the story. They're in the studio. Sherelle's on the phone talking to somebody, and she's just like, something. My bad. I didn't mean to turn you on. And it was like light bulb, like, I didn't mean to turn you on. Okay, let's start writing. And then they just started, putting that whole thing together. So it's like, always keep your eyes and ears open when you're trying to be creative. Eddie, where can they get at you, good brother?
All right. On Twitter at EddieD80, Freestyles on Instagram. Yeah, man, I need to get back on my bullshit, man. There was something I came across today. Someone sent me, it was like a review or something. And I was reading it, and I was just like, it just wasn't it. And I'm just like, I need to get back on my bullshit, man. So that's all that is.
All right. Veg, where can I get at you, good brother?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Spell, Threads, all of that at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now podcast, which is a weekly news and perspectives podcast, not only here on YouTube but also on all podcast streaming platforms. Yeah, and I'm usually here in the garage with my like old tapes and shit behind me.
All right, y'all already know what it is with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. Two things I want to shout out this week. You can tell I'm getting old because I share shit now. These for people out there who fuck with the figures, we brought that thing home. We brought that shit home. There we go.
Let's go ahead and put that on.
Here we go. Because Vern was talking a whole lot of heavy shit the other week. Yeah, so I see you. But I share shit. For people who are in the figures and statues like I am, it's this dude Scartodia, I think that's his name, on IG, just dropped his new Outcast joints. Crazy. Cop them. They take forever to come. I ain't even gonna hold you. You're gonna be waiting 4 or 5 months. I'm still waiting for my Rakim, but it'll be worth it because once they sell out, these joints go for 1,000 plus online. It's this Biggie one I want. That shit like 1,500. You know what I mean? So if you see it, cop it. Also, y'all know I'm a bookworm. You got the new book called Do Remember about New York mixtapes. You're a mixtape head. You will definitely want this book. You can already see some of the tapes. Clue, Mr. C, Stretch and Bob, Tony Touch, Ron G, Premier. So you're in the mixtapes. Definitely cop this. Let me kidnap y'all for 5 more minutes. There was I don't know what happened on Twitter last week. Motherfuckers lost their mind. This was the first time that I ever really thought like, yo, the fucking world could be coming to an end because you young motherfuckers just don't know shit. It started on Friday when somebody told me Wale had a classic discography. And I was like, there's a lot of words that could be used to describe Wale's discography. Classic is not one of them. Then it just started to get worse. And we finished with this love affair for J. Cole. And I made a statement. I want to see if you all agree with this. I said J. Cole could only be a top 3 MC in this era that we're in right now, because he's not prime. J. Cole is not better than prime Biggie, J, or Nas in the 90s, and he's not better than prime Rakim, KRS, and Kane in the 80s. And these J. Cole stands lost their fucking minds. I'm like, my man, I'm saying your dude is not top 7 of all time. Like, I'm not calling him trash. I'm not saying he's whack. Cole is dope as shit. But this is the only decade of hip hop, in my opinion, that he would be a top 3 MC. And I know a lot of people who was like, nigga, he really ain't even top 3 because I put Fonte above him. He's not even really the dopest nigga out of North Carolina. But I want to know, what do you guys think about that? Do you think J. Cole could be a top 3 MC in any other era than now? Not long-winded, but just vague. What do you think? Could he be a top 3 MC in any other era but now?
No. You know why I say that? Because I think this era is so thirsty for young cats that could spit, that Cole and Kendrick and even Drake, when he wants to get in his bag, their skills are elevated, you know, because it's like, thank you. You know, we don't have to keep going to the old school to say who's nice. At least there's some hope for the future type thing. So when you're talking about putting him in an era where there's so many different styles and voices, his style doesn't stand out at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just that he's nice, but everybody was nice back then. Right. Most niggas are trash now. You know what I'm saying? So of course you stand out. Now I will say this. He does show up when he's spitting next to somebody who can spit, because I love Benny. But Cole on that, his shit is more memorable to me on that track.
Right.
I was like, he said some shit. So I think it's just people overblowing. Like Platinum with no features, it's the same shit. Like, y'all little niggas not used to shit. Because guess what? That used to happen all the time.
Yeah,
right.
But making it something special now that, you have no features. What? So what? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was funny because bad niggas was like, nah, Cole would have been alright in the 90s. I'm like, nigga, K9 Posse was alright in the 90s. Like, King's Son was alright in the 90s. I didn't say the nigga wouldn't get a record deal. I just said the nigga would not be top 3 in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? And then one young nigga, it's just the youth. I love these little motherfuckers. They don't know no better. Motherfucker was like, who can sell out Madison Square Garden right now, though? Cole or Rakim? And I'm like, well, nigga, ask me some hip-hop shit, and I'll answer your question. Because what the fuck is selling out Madison Square Garden? Who could do that right now? Like, come on, bro, stop. Eddie, what do you think? Prime Cole better than Prime Big J, Nas, Kane, KRS? Okay.
He not better than Prime Prodigy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm mad at J. Cole for making me sit through a damn Lil Yachty verse. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like,
yo, to be honest, if we're talking about the same one, that's probably the best Lil Yachty verse I've ever heard. Not saying it's good.
It's not saying much, but
it's just the best I've heard from Lil Yachty. But,
like,
you know what? And
right,
I really don't want to be mean. I don't want to.
Oh, go ahead, Eddie. Be mean. Fuck
right.
Lil Yachty raps like he has, like he's hard of hearing. Like, you know, like how someone talks.
Like Anita sing.
That's
like
how he raps.
Yeah, like Anita sing like she does. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that nigga says somebody take Lil Yachty, get a hearing test right now. Let's get this nigga a vision test. Rel, Prime Cole better than the 6?
No, and the thing is, when you think about it, like, he would have been dope, right? But he would have been one of those people that we bring up in these shows and be like, man, remember, he was dope, but he wasn't not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how back then it was so many dope artists, like, it was, we were like, oh yeah, he was dope.
That's what people don't understand. That's what people don't understand. I mean, this young boy was going back and forth, and I'm like, my nigga, I was there.
Shabazz Sadiq was dope.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, what year was you born? He was like 85. I'm like, my nigga, that means you were 3 years old when it was Prime, Rakim, Kane, and KRS.
Right.
You were 3, my nigga. Like, and it's no disrespect. And I think young boy kind of took it like, because I said, dog, sometimes in life you just gotta shut up and listen. I said, when I get around my moms and they talk that Motown shit, I just shut up and listen. I ask questions and I just want to learn. Y'all young motherfuckers don't want to shut up. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like only you gotta shut up and I don't have to shut up. No, when I'm around my OGs, I'm gonna shut up too. But this new generation weren't raised outside where you had to shut up. This new generation has been raised on their phones and on their tablets where you just talk all day. So telling them to be quiet and just listen is disrespectful to them. It's like, dog, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you're saying like I'm not alive no more. Like I can't talk about Cole. I've seen Cole from Friday Night Lights to where he is right now. You didn't see Rakim go from My Melody to fucking Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. You didn't see that. You weren't there. You know, so I'm not saying you can't appreciate it, but I don't see the debate. Cole. JR, what about you? Is Prime Cole better than?
No. I agree with everything y'all said, so I don't need to. But again, when it comes to this stuff, I listen. You know what I mean? Because again, I was young when Rakim was doing this, so I wasn't outside then. That's why it be bothering me with these niggas on Twitter. I'll be like, shut the fuck up. Like,
and I feel like it would be like me arguing with my mom. You know what, Mom? Prime Mary J is better than Prime Aretha. Like, that shit sounds asinine.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
but I think Wale having a classic discography is what really threw me out of everything, because I'm like, God, Wale? Okay.
Wale don't even have a classic album, so I don't know how he got a classic discography.
Yeah,
there is that. All right, good people. I will check y'all next week, man.